Hi, my name is Trevor, and this is my video assignment for how to propagate a common bean plant. So for the first step, you want to make sure they have a nice clean area with a sink for water and a desk to kind of put your materials on. For your materials, you're obviously going to need bean plants. Set those aside. You're going to need a common tray pot. Set that aside. You're going to need a container to put it in afterwards. Finally, you're going to need your growing media. I've chosen this one because it has nice fertilizers and it's very good. First step of the process is to make sure your tray pot is nice and clean so no other bacteria or anything is inside. So you're just going to run the water, kind of go along with your finger, and just make sure that it's nice and clean. Doesn't matter cold or warm, as long as the pot's clean. So after you have cleaned the pot, shut the water off, kind of give it a couple taps. Make sure to have a towel on hand at the same time so you can go in and dry the tray pot. You want to dry it so there is no other water inside the growing media unless the water that you put in at the end. So now, once it's dry, with the countertop you have here, you can take your growing media, just nice and gently lay it all in there. Doesn't matter if you miss, because obviously I'm missing. So it does not matter if you miss. Fill it up to that ring right there, and just make sure the top is nice and crumpled up and fluffy. After that, you're going to take your beans, you're going to open the bag, dump out minimum 2 beans. Depends on your pot size or what you're doing. If it's in the field or if it's in a pot like this is smaller, so 2 beans is about as much as you need. You can put those on the counter, and with your finger, your first knuckle is about 1 centimeter deep. So you're going to take that and press it into the dirt until your first knuckle is deep. Once you've done that, wiggle it around a little bit just to create a bigger hole for the beans. With that hole created, you're going to take both of your beans and just nicely, gently drop them in there. You see in there? Once the beans have been dropped into place, you're going to cover it back up and gently press it. You're also going to take the rest of your growing media that you have left over, nicely put it back on top. From there, you're going to spread it around, gently press it. Do not press too hard, or else the oxygen inside the growing media will not circulate for the beans, and your beans will not grow. Okay, now, once you have gently firmed in the growing media, you're going to want to have a measuring cup or some type of other measuring tool for water and liquids, and fill it up to between 25 to 50 milliliters. Anything more could drown out your beans. So just lightly add it, a little bit more I think. Will be a bit more there. You want it to be about cold to lukewarm temperature for the bean to grow perfect. Just like that. Now with this, you don't want to pour it directly in here already. You want to take your pot and put it into another container, so any water that siphons through or goes through the growing media will be caught by this container. So with that, you just kind of lightly go over where the beans are, and you will see that the water will drain through and into the pot. Now, once you have done that, pretty much is the final stage of propagating a common bean. But the main thing you want is to bring it over to an area that has 6 hours of daylight. So preferably with a nice window like this, with the sun that rises in the east and it's going to set to the west, so it at least has 6 hours of daylight. It's going to get enough to propagate properly.